2020 has been a very strange year and a very tough year for most. The change of landscape has brought us new challenges to overcome and hardships to be endured. While the majority of the population stands still, the richest men in the world significantly increase their fortunes. These giants use their influence to attempt to change the course of current affairs.
Twitter's position is essentially voter fraud does not exist. Are you aware that just 2 weeks ago in the state of Texas, a woman was charged with 134 counts of election fraud? Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of that.
If I tweeted that statement with a link to the indictment, would you put a warning on it that says, well, the Democratic Party position right now is voter fraud doesn't exist?
I don't think it's useful to get into hypotheticals, but I don't believe so.
You don't believe so? Well, we're going to test that because I'm going to tweet that and we'll see what you put on it.
Very soon, and without intervention, this could become dangerous. With power centralized and the media machines revved up, big tech will control the moral narrative of the population through the shaming of opinion contrary to popular belief and value signaling to suggest piety.
Let everybody take note that Mr. Zuckerberg has now repeatedly refused to provide information that he knows that he has and has now acknowledged that he has.
There is, however, some signs of hope. Thin slivers of light cascading through the overgrowth. Time begets change, and with the right investment vehicle, we can do one or both of two things. 1. Pick assets that allow the world to develop in line with your goals. 2. Pick assets that increase in value over time. Through patient investing, we can take what we already have and make it work for us. There is no guarantee of success, but you have succeeded in preventing the bank from investing your money and providing you with low to no interest. I have doubled my net worth this year. In this video, I will discuss where I came from, how I did it, what my current net worth is, both in my virtual paper trading account and in my real trading / investing account. At the start of 2019, I'd been graduated from uni for 4 years. I was still living at home with my parents, but I had a full-time permanent job. With all that in mind, I had a total net worth of about £2,000. I had £4,000 that I got from selling my car, and I had minus £2,000 that I got from just using my overdraft from university. So you might be wondering why I had so little money, considering I had a full-time permanent job that could also pay commission. Well, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think that my number one problem was mindset. See, now mindset is very important because mindset is normally the thing that prevents you or pushes you towards a certain goal. Now, for me in this case, it was I didn't have the right mindset because I didn't think it was the case that there was actually a worthwhile opportunity to be had with me saving and investing money with the amount of money that I had. I was sort of thinking, look, if I'm saving 100 a month, then that's $1,200 a year, and if I make 10% on it, which is what I hear is a decent return on your investment, then I'm making £120 a year, which is an extra £10 a month. So, if we're going to be honest, realistically, I was thinking, in terms of real change to my life, what's that actually going to do? That's going to buy me an extra McDonald's a month or something like that. So I thought, at the time, sack that off. Let's wait 10 years. I'll just get promoted a bunch of times. Then I'll be earning 60k or something. I can funnel a lot of that into my investments and stuff like that, because my standard of living won't have gone up that much, he hopes, and everything will be good. However, after a certain amount of time, it became very clear and apparent to myself that I had completely the wrong mindset, and if I continued to act as I was acting, I was never going to get where I wanted to go, and I was never going to build or generate the sort of wealth that I want to build. Mainly, I failed to appreciate two things. Number one, compound interest. So, compound interest is basically the idea that you put something in, you earn 3% on it, and then the next time you earn 3% on it, you not only earn the 3% on the original thing, but you earn the 3% on the original thing plus the 3% you got before, meaning that after so many iterations of this plus 3%, you have a lot more money than you would have if you just have plus 3% on the original 10 times. So compound interest really is an amazing tool that we should be using from the earliest point possible to get the most value out of it. The second thing is the devaluation of our currency. It's important to me if I've made smart choices, I've made good investments, and these investments have given me shed load of cash, right? It's very important to me that this cash doesn't devalue as quick as I make it, otherwise there's literally no point in me having it, right? So if I've doubled my money but the value of £1 is now 50p, then there's literally no point in me doing anything. I've just spent time to stand still, essentially. Upon the realization of these two things, I quickly thrust myself into the world of finance, tasked with the understanding of how to achieve a sort of financial freedom and independence that I want over the next decade. If you know me, you know I have somewhat a obsessive personality. I find it hard to accept a sort of face value or tacit explanation or understanding of these things. So naturally, as soon as I become interested in something, in this case finance, I spend hours and hours every evening trawling the internet, trying to get as clued up as I can possibly be to understand how to do this the best way. So after paper trading for about 6 months, I invested my initial £100. I mean, you've got to start somewhere to get the ball rolling, right? Very soon I realised that the sort of profits that I wanted to see returning were not going to happen with this level of investment. I needed to invest more capital if I wanted to see this sort of palpable returns that actually meant something to me. Yes, I want it to be something to build on, and there's nothing wrong with starting small. However, if you have a certain level of expectation that you know you can hit, and you're not going to be happy or satisfied until you hit it, then I would just work on hitting that first, and then everything else can come there afterwards. You don't want to get bored, stop doing it, and then in 10 years wonder why you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve. So it's not really adding to my life in any meaningful way. Obviously, if I keep compounding that over time, that will have an effect, which is obviously what I'm encouraging you guys to do right now. But at the same time, you want the amount of money you put in there to be able to have an effect. There's no point in me putting a tenner in there and then after 100 years being like, oh, it's like 10x in value. Great. It's giving me an extra £90. I could have just worked X amount of hours to earn that. So at this point, I had roughly worked out budget to get myself going. So in order to have a good idea of how much money I can invest every month, I need to have a decent understanding of my outgoings. It's very important to understand your outgoings. You don't want to invest at the start of the month and not have money to pay your bills, pay your electricity, pay your rent, whatever it is the case that you need to do. And B, myself. It's very important, and you've probably heard before this concept of paying yourself first. So I pay myself so that I can live within a certain means and lifestyle. But what I mean is everyone has a general level of lifestyle that they'd like to maintain. Maybe it can be reduced. I'm always trying to look for ways to live more minimalistically, but at the same time, we all have that level, that standard, that if we drop below it, we're really uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that you can't be uncomfortable for the purpose of saving and accruing money for the short term, but you know, I want to enjoy this experience as I do it, and I want it to be a lifelong experience. I don't want it to be one built on pain. I want it to be fun, enjoyable. I want to carry it on. I want to carry it on, and it benefits me all around the board, and not in some sort of double-edged sword kind of way. Whatever is left after these two is the amount of money that I can invest every month should I wish to. Now, the main goal is to pick assets that are going to appreciate, and that appreciate at a greater rate than the rate of inflation and the devaluation of the Great British Pound. So, how do we pick them? It's very hard. Very hard. How do you know? No one knows. Okay. Personally, I like to look for growth assets or growth stocks, things that I think the money is going to be in the next 10 years, 20 years, stuff that will change the world. In specific, looking at that and thinking about what I was saying earlier about the devaluation of the currency, cryptocurrencies are a big draw for me. They have all the qualities that I look for in an asset: security, decentralization, immutability, and privacy. These are all things that are becoming more and more apparent we need to protect every day. From investing, mainly in crypto, which is a personal choice, I fully understand and appreciate that cryptocurrencies is a new asset class. It's very young. There's a lot of people that don't understand it. I would never recommend you invest in something you don't understand. Before you invest in anything, any asset, please do all your own research first. Do not take anything I say in this video as investment advice. It is purely meant for entertainment and educational purposes. I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed to be one. Please do not be confused. I am not one. Just to linger and touch on growth. So growth is a very important thing when it comes to a stock or an asset of any type. People might look at companies like Tesla, for example, and wonder, compared to Volkswagen, the amount of cars sold compared to the market value makes absolutely no sense, right? But when people look at companies like Tesla, they're looking at them from not the perspective that they're an automotive manufacturer, but from the perspective of R&D, improvement, and future technology. They're looking at Tesla from the perspective of a company that might be the future leader, provider of batteries to the world. That is why it's worth what it's worth. That is probably why it's going to continue to go up, right? It's not worth that now. It's based on the future potential of the company. And that is what you're investing in.
Okay, so as promised, we'll now be taking a quick look at my virtual and real portfolio, just to make sure, you know, I'm saying what I've said and everything I've said is true. Well, that brings us to the end of the video, guys, so thank you very much for watching. First off, just wanted to say, if you're not subscribed already and you did enjoy the content, please subscribe. Please click the bell to allow all notifications for all videos I upload. Otherwise, I'm just going to get lost among the many Sidemen React Among Us videos.